Hello, everyone. We continue with Share the Power, and I have here Dr. Susan Miele, my partner in crime. That's a good description for us during our journey and, of course, afterwards. Susan is going to introduce herself. Hopefully, she won't tell you too many stories about me. Please, Susan, keep that under wraps. We don't want anyone to find out all my tricks. And Susan, tell us about yourself. What do you do, your work, your passion, what you've done, and what you are thinking of doing?
Thank you. I am a recently retired executive. I was in human resources for 38 years, 20 of which I had the top job at some fairly significant corporations in the Boston area in the financial services and biotech industries primarily. And I ran teams of large and small teams and helped really scale and grow companies. So that was my passion in human resources, was scaling and growing companies. It wasn't sort of a maintenance type of human resources job. And I left that career in January of this past year. And I have been really taking it easy mostly this year and sort of giving myself the time and space to sit with the discomfort of not doing and try to focus on being and see how that evolves into what I might do professionally next if I decide to do something professionally, or just continue to be and enjoy life.
If I can snag you into doing research with
Yes,
me.
I would love to do that. I would love to.
Oh my God, the fun that we will have.
I really am. I would love to get back to utilizing the skills that we acquired during our PhD. I don't feel like I've utilized those to the fullest extent via my profession, and I would like to get back to that. Although I feel like I use them every day, sort of in critical thinking and researching and approaching different things. I'd like to get back to that depth of research and that discipline that we did in our doctoral program. So I would like to do that, but I don't want to force it. I want it to sort of evolve.
Yeah, into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And of course, we have such peace and war issues. So I'm going to work on you slowly and surely. You know how I am. And for everyone here, Susan actually sat on my committee and I sat on her committee. And so we did have a lot of fun, although I have to say probably was a bit of torture sitting on my committee. Reading.
That topic was just a little bit lighter than yours.
But we had fun, that's for sure.
I was listening to one of your videos with another of your patients, clients, and I was thinking of reading your dissertation and your relationship with Immanuel Kant, and I was like, wow, I'm surprised I even got through that. I was actually able to provide you with some feedback once in a while.
Once in a while, yeah, right. Everyone, Susan is brilliant. Her feedback was amazing. And we have learned so much together. And so we have started to work together on your health. You were just telling me almost from the get-go, right? What was going on? Tell us.
When I met you in, I think it was 2011, I was 6 years postmenopausal. So I went through menopause at 43 after a very short perimenopause. Like many women experience perimenopause for many years. I had my daughter at 37, and by 43, I was full done. I did not get my period again after that. And so mainstream medicine, from the time I started with perimenopause till I met you, was very, very dismissive. First, it was like I was too young. Then it was like I was too stressed. I had a very big job then, and obviously a quite small child. And I was too young. I was too stressed. I should take a medical leave. I should go on antidepressant. Like the thought that I was actually perimenopause was like not even on anyone's radar. And then full year later, after having my last period, I was again quite dismissed. It was like, oh, well, you're young, you'll be fine. And meantime, my hormone levels are like, going straight down to zero, literally zero, when I got my blood tested finally by, I think it was a DO that you recommended in New York. I had to go to New York. I live in Boston at the time.
I know.
The major hospital center of the world, and there's like practically no one that's practicing in hormone replacement therapy, never mind someone that's going to address a 40-something-year-old's issues, that because they're not even listening to the fact that there are issues. So I had gained 20 pounds during that time period without any lifestyle changes. It was all visceral fat, like in my belly, like so classic. And I should just note, I have literally used every BioImmersion product that there is, but the ones that I started with and the ones I continually use and come back to, even if I take a small break and focus on something else at the time, are 3. And on your website, you call them the recharge protocol. I almost every day have them in a smoothie, which is the beta glucan, the number 7 system booster, and the staff of life, which is the fiber, which is, again, I don't know, most women, most people, and I think the United States don't get enough fiber. It's like pretty well documented. So I may take a little break and focus on something else, like the blueberry or the high auric, and I rotate some of the products, but those 3 feel like those were my go-to. And I felt like when I started on that protocol way back when and continued on it for many years and took a little break and came back to it, I felt like all of my system, like I just settled down. And that was before I started hormone replacement therapy. So I didn't start hormone replacement therapy until a couple of years later. I'd never had high cholesterol, but my cholesterol lowered. My digestive system was much better. I was digesting better. I don't measure my gut biome, but I had a lot less upset stomach or bloating or any of those. I lost the weight. Again, I never really changed. I've always had a fairly healthy lifestyle, diet and exercise wise. So I lost that 20 pounds that had been sort of just gradually creeping, and I don't know how many pounds it might have gotten to eventually. I'm fairly tall, so who knows? And those are the products when someone asks me, like, what's your sort of go-to regime? Those are the 3 products that, so I would say 6 out of 7 days a week, I have those in a smoothie in the morning. I do usually add some vegan protein powder because I don't always get enough protein from my diet. And I usually use almond milk and some veggies or something like that. So it's like a full, and I feel like I got, 90% of what I need from vitamins and minerals. And then I sometimes take some energy for mineral depletion, or I take the waitlist for the DHEA and the seaweed. So I add to that, but if I'm getting sick, I always have garlic available, and I just was sick and I didn't have it available. So that was a bummer. But I have it now for the upcoming winter. So I would say for the target audience of like postmenopausal women is huge. And I think there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of really not very high quality products. And having known you and Sean for this many years, and just watching how much effort you put into your selection of your partners and the level of scrutiny and standards for it, I've just never seen anything like it. So I plan to take it the rest of my life. I try to recommend it. There's a lot. I love that you're doing these videos, and I hope that they can get out to as many people as possible, because there is a lot of misinformation out there. And I think that people just don't know what to do.
It's true. A lot of people come to us, or to me now, being that Shani is no longer with us, but
He is, isn't he?
He's
right there right now.
alive. He is right now, that's for sure. I know he definitely kicked your butt during PhD, with, of course, you two having a couple glasses of wine. Yes. And
I wasn't the best
telling him, I don't know if I want to do this PhD. And he's going, oh, yes, you are doing it. So, and talking about that, because that was we did the things that we had passion for during our research time and pulling it together. And of course, time moves on. My passion, of course, is continuing on to research how can we arrive to a place where we play nice with each other. And so part of Share the Power series is that I believe that knowledge is power. And when we do share knowledge, we do empower one another. But how can we empower one another when a certain group of people do not want to listen or are so filled with hate? And so my passion is to somehow figure out how can we be role models, examples for others without losing our center, our core of love and compassion and kindness, and still being practical about survival and about also thriving in the world. What is your passion in life, Susan? Tell us what motivates you to get out. What do you think about the future of our world? You know, those heavy duty questions that you and I love to chat about.
Yeah, it's interesting because, as you know, my dissertation was on adolescent girls, and I'm still very passionate about adolescent girls and how to best support them in this crazy world that we live in. But my focus this last year has actually been, I've gone back to my passion for yoga, and not the I do love the physical practice of yoga, but the physical practice of yoga is like such a very small part of yoga. And the sort of bigger picture of yoga is around how to live in your truth and how to live an honest, non-harming, non-violent, evolutionary life so that you can get to that sort of highest level of peace or walking with the divine, and how you separate body, mind, and soul to be sort of free. So bringing that, like, I'm enrolled in a 200-hour training program for yoga right now, and this is my second one. And I've done a lot of intense study in yoga, but it's such a vast field that it's hard to really wrap your head around all of it. So right now I'm passionate about how to live yoga off of your yoga mat and how to bring that into the community in some way, so that others can see yoga for the practice that it is, not just like going to take a class and then being done with it. So that's my current passion.
That's beautiful. As you know, my whole thing in the past year and a half going through this adjustment has been to walk with the divine. That was, I wanted to feel embraced by the divine. I wanted to embrace the divine. I wanted to feel wholeness inside of me. I wanted to feel love for the world. And it's hard when you are going through grief and sadness and adjustment and thinking, now what? And so I love your yoga practice, and you've been doing it for so many years.
Yeah.
And it has, in my view, produced in you such a beautiful, powerful core that I know I've come to rely on, and I know so many people rely on that. And you have that amazing bubbling joy in you that is so infectious. And I wanted to acknowledge that and say to you one more time before we go in front of all these people, I will snag you because
I know how convincing you are. I would not have a PhD if it wasn't for you. I wouldn't have had a committee if it wasn't for you. You convinced the people to join my committee.
Oh my God, I'm on a roll. Susan, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you. Everybody loves you, that's for sure. And we will have you come and visit us here at Share the Power again and again.
Love you too. Thank you for the opportunity to chat about that important subject.
Very.